How's it? And welcome back to another video. Today we are going to be looking at some of my earlier work. Now don't panic. Before we get started, I just want to say we're not going to be doing all of my work. Otherwise, I'll probably be keeping you guys here for about 12 hours or so. To make this a bit easier on you guys, I split my work into 5 sections. The sections being 5 to 10-year-old, the edgy work, color experiments, and my dark phase. I'm only going to be doing work that's on paper, no canvases and no work that's currently displayed on my Instagram. We'll leave that for another video. So without any further ado, before you get into this video, smash that like button and let's get into it. First up, we have the 5 to 10-year-old work. Now this piece was probably the first piece I ever brought home from school. I was super proud of it, although I thought the elephant looked a bit malnourished. This piece was my reaction to The Simpsons. I always felt that we needed a South African version of it, so I created the Dupre's. So I'm not going to be talking about every single piece, otherwise this was going to be a very long video, but this is a butterfly I made for my mom about 15 years ago. I'm still quite proud of it to this day. This character has obviously consumed some acid. Whoa, isn't this appropriate? Mr. Johnny Depp himself. Let's free Johnny, boys. Next up is the edgy work. Wow. For those of you who have been following me for a while know, this was the first ever post I made on my original Instagram. And when I created this style, the black and white, you can see it in the next piece as well. I really thought this is gonna be it. I thought that these works are gonna be selling out, and it's quite cute, the false confidence you have as a young artist. I think when I created this, my parents should have been a bit more concerned. But this piece is just about how definite death is and how it wins at the end of the day. This next piece is a personal piece I did for my girlfriend at the time. And I don't know why she's suffering from stigmata, but yeah, that's what happened. Let me just clarify, she didn't have stigmata, that's just what happened in the painting. Wow, this piece takes me back. When I created this piece, I was really excited. I remember getting a big compliment from quite a big artist at the time saying that this work is A1, and I was very excited. This work here, you can kind of see the correlation between the dark outlines and goofy playstyle in comparison with the work I'm creating today. Oh yes, this painting. I remember while I was making it, I thought it looked amazing, but as soon as I showed it to the public, I hated this piece. And you can also see in this next painting that the black background, it was made out of this weird chalky paint, and it would kind of fall off, like it was so inconsistent, and I just don't like the way it set. So this phase is probably the phase that has influenced my art style the most nowadays. And it was something very authentic that I created many years ago. I look fondly at these paintings, and I remember them quite fondly because I remember at the time I didn't have any editing software, and I would send these pictures to my friend and he would put them on Photoshop for me with a white background, and it meant the world to me that my pictures looked a bit more professional online. I love you, Tristan White. Wow, this guy has had better days. A lot of what stemmed in this style, and a lot of what this style was about, was kind of this infusion between nature, technology, and mankind. So you'd often see a plug or a leaf or some kind of thing coming out of someone. This piece, I hate it to this day. I didn't try to make it look like an old man, but it was perfectly an old man. And this piece, this man is rooking a lekker pipe. One thing I kind of do admire about young Lester is that he actually did improve in this style. Like the style I can see from the beginning to where it is here, it definitely did improve. Even in this piece, you can see the line work is a bit more clean, the ideas are a bit more thought out. And then there's this guy. This is where the dark stuff started. Wow. This is a rather scary face. I don't remember creating this piece, but I'm glad I didn't remember creating it because it's terrifying. Oh yes, this is one of my favorite Dota 2 characters called Earthshaker. Struggled a bit with hands, completely stopped. Wasn't interested in struggling with it. This is quite a cool piece. I remember creating this on the farm. Very nice. Now this guy looks like every other YouTuber today with this mullet. I mean, the resemblance is uncanny. Now this piece I created for my uncle. And I don't actually know why I put it in this section, but I made it when I was quite young, and I'm quite excited to give it to him one day. It's a very colorful version of it, and my nephew even volunteered and helped out on it a few years later. Oh my gooshness. This piece was an attempt at a dolly. I'm just not patient enough to really do oil paintings or surrealism. I would love to. I'm just not patient enough. And straight into this piece. This piece, I remember when I created it, I was going crazy. I thought I was on drugs or something because I felt so good about this piece. I felt like the planets aligned when I created this piece on the day. So this is a very positive memory when I see this artwork that I made. Okay, so this is a piece I created when I was in art school in grade 7, 8. And I remember they forced me to use watercolor, and I hate watercolor. It's called the Cactus with Cramper, and it is a bit of a disaster. So one of my friends asked me many moons back to make him a piece about his dog. Never finished it, never let him know, I'm sorry. Jammer Chris, love you lots. So these are prints that I did last year. We were doing some liner cut prints, and that's a protea. This is a drawing I did in semi-realism. It's called Igor Bok. It's an amalgamation between a buck, a gorilla, and a sunflower. I think it looks quite very nice. And this is a print I did, which you could see on one of the previous videos. I think it was the last one on my shirt. It's quite a personal piece, but I love the way it came out. It looks very rustic, and it's very dear to my heart. And finally we get to the dark paintings. Now these are works that are, I would say, more recent, but these are the works that I am more known for creating, other than the works that I'm doing currently. Very few of you know that this was actually the first piece on the Instagram I'm currently posting on. I was very happy with the piece at the time, but this was the piece I posted, and then 2 years later I started posting work officially on my art page. So it was the inception of the long neck style that I popularized during that phase of my life. Something that I picked up quite early during creating these dark portraits was that the majority of these portraits all look similar. They all represent a similar person, and I don't know, I sometimes ask myself why I'm stuck at creating this character that always looks the same. This was one of the pieces that I actually wanted to post way back when, but I never did. I really love this piece. I think it was a beautiful combination of water paint and chalk. And even in this piece, I think it's interesting, just way too much teeth. And this piece this piece should have been concerning to my parents, I think. This drawing I made here eventually became one of the paintings that I did during this phase. And then we have Jesus. Yep. Dark Jesus again. This piece, I like this piece. It's all I can say is I really like it. I love using charcoal. Charcoal was my first love before I actually started painting. and I think it shows. I like how you can express yourself with charcoal without any limitation. Now, this is quite a personal piece, and I'd like to say a little bit about it. I created this piece the day that my grandmother passed away, and the meaning behind the piece was that she was so religious in her life, and she was always counting on going to heaven, and that God was waiting for her. So my idea behind it was that I hope that she didn't die waiting for nothing. And yeah, I painted this with my fingers at the time, and to this day it's still one of my favorite paintings. Even though it's not technically the best painting I've ever done, it was definitely a piece that I did when I was very emotional. Here you can almost see the inception of the long neck story that I did. These were some paintings that I did in the start of my career, and I was really set on it that the long neck characters was going to be my mainstay. And this is my first oil painting I ever did. I think I did it when I was like 12 or something. And the majority of these are just some doodles I did while I'm waiting for paintings to dry, and yeah, that's what they look like. And this one specifically was for competition. One of the artists that I like, called Miles Johnson, I think, on Instagram, he had a competition where you had to recreate one of his styles in your own. And yeah, I actually thought of entering, but I didn't, which I regret. I don't think I would have won, but it would have been nice. And then finally, there are these guys, which closely resemble the drawings and paintings that I'm doing today. Going back to the previous video where I talked about discovering your art style, this is just another piece of advice, is looking back at the work that I showed you in the start and looking at the work towards the end. They do resemble each other quite a bit, so I'm just reinforcing that idea that you should always try and create something without any reference, because more than most of the times, it's really something inherent inside of you, and it will most likely become your style upon further exploration. Oh, Snorra. That's all for now. That's all for now. That's not my name. That's not my name. They call me Stacy. That's all for now, folks. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope you guys could learn a little bit something about me. And yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one. Much love. Peace. Bring my blauw koeldrank. Thank you all for watching another video. I didn't post one last week. This is actually the video I was going to post last week. Didn't get enough time to post. But yeah, thank you for all the love and support. See me on all socials at Lester van der Merwe Artist. And don't forget, poop. Poop tiri, scoop poop. Punani. Poop tiri, scoop poop. Whoop die floop poop. Scoop die floop. I'm a rapper.